Kane as well. Unicorns will end up keeping it pretty standard at this point.
Looks like we're just going to see a repeat of what we saw in game number 4. Oh, a bit of a shift up there from H2K though. Thresh going to be left available for the Unicorns.
Tristana first pick up. If H2K want to take it, now I have to wonder what the options are going to be, what the priority will be on the side of H2K. Potential power picks up and available.
So last game they banned away the Jarvan, but if they do that, then as you already said, they're giving away the Tristana. You would expect the Trist to come out now from H2K. Oh, okay. I mean, we've seen the power of Miasma really mitigating or being a really good follow-up tool for a lot of the engages from things like the Rakan. And I think that it has been doing pretty well all in all. And actually, I'm going to have a quick ask of my stats team to see what the win record of Casio is in this series so far, because off the top of my head, I can't quite remember. So I'm sure they can buzz me that information, but still no high priority on Nart. We were in bated breath in game 4. The Unicorns were still able to get their hands on it. I feel like H2K should look to try and take that away.
It's interesting how the series meta has developed. Thresh no longer something that H2K are scared of, but Casio a huge priority. Now, the other pick we've seen come in from Nuclear has been the Sivert. He's looked really good on it, so it makes a lot of sense that H2K are willing to give up that Tristana. This is adaptation we like to see from H2K as a team.
Now you would imagine that they lock in their support, something like the Rakan. They could also go for the jungle, or they change things up completely and they do what we discussed.
I like it. Not giving Vizicsacsi the chance to play Nart, not giving him that massive team fighting pick that he honestly single-handedly turned the game with.
So the wonderful stats team have informed me that Casio is in fact undefeated in this series so far, 4-0. So Unicorns, they could be the one to upset that, as they're very likely going to lock in the Syndra. But I feel like the best way to shut down the Casio is to camp her hard in the early game. And I feel like the way in which Unicorns are heading, very likely towards the Ivern once again, I don't know how easy it is going to be for them to hard camp that mid.
Struggles once again as we come into second round of ban phase. This always feels like the most important part of the draft. Rakan taken off the board. H2K wanted the Gnar over that. It means that Che is going to have a lot harder time forcing these engages. Unicorns will also get the luxury of first pick in the second pick phase. Take away anything else that is remaining.
Now, if you are H2K, you want to ban away some of the counters to Gnar. Things like the Jace would be a pretty good ban here. Oh, interesting. They're also going to try and take Chachi off some of his counter picks. One of the big things that Unicorns seem to have prepped coming into this series was the Maokai for Chachi up in the top lane. He played it in games 1 and in games 3. He's had mixed success on the champion.
Of course, Maokai with some of those positive interactions can use the untargetable nature of the Twisted Advance to duck out a lot of the CC in the Mega Gnar form. Pretty hard to dive that pick. Sejuani going to be the man that follows up. Jankos proved himself multiple times on the pick. Unicorns of Love not looking to give over any of those comfort picks to the opposite side wherever possible.
Very likely that it's going to be a Gragas then for H2K, with the Unicorns trying to save their top lane pick for the very end. This could potentially be one of those Kennen games.
Ooh, Kennen. That one, always a hit and miss. But the Kennen locked in.
The only reason why I said Kennen was because I was actually expecting the Jace to be banned. But the Rumble, I think, actually makes a lot more sense. I feel like the Chachi and Odo have preferred to go towards that team fighter. How could I forget, though, the classic for Vizicsacsi has been banned.
And look, it's game 5, Vedius. When all else fails, defaulting to comfort, not a bad choice. You've got the Tristana, you've got the Hyper Carry, got a Lantern from Thresh, now the Shield from Shen as well. If you round this out
with an Ivern,
that's your Protect the Samix comp, and that's been a good look for Unicorns of Love so far. H2K, though, just going to keep packing more and more CC. Maybe hope to shut this one down as Gragas is once again locked in for Jankos.
Now, I imagine that the Braum is what will come out from H2K. They could go for a Tahm Kench, but I think it's a little bit risky. We're seeing a few hovers now. The Brand Hover, bit of a troll, bit of a serious pick. We did see it banned against G2, but there we go. It will be the defensive option, so they're mainly playing towards lane. Now, the struggle for H2K is that they won't have a roaming Jade that's going to be effective at setting up plays all across the map, but Gragas can still be an effective early ganker. I want to see him try and invest some resources up into the top lane, try and get Odo ahead, build him up to be this split-pushing threat, and prevent Unicorns from making the level 6 play bottom lane. They have the Shen, they have an Ivern. Put a Syndra in the mix too, and you have an incredibly powerful diving comp that can beautifully set up the Tristana for success.
When we look at the mid to late game, you got a Sivir and a Braum together, paired with the engaged potential of a Gnar. The sustained damage output of the Cassio are poised for some pretty explosive late game team fights, but Unicorns Love can find that edge early if they can snowball the Syndra or Samix on the bottom lane on that Tristana. This game very quickly could go in their favor. Vedius, I am so excited for this Game 5. Pressure mounting for both teams. For H2K, it has not been a factor in this series. But here in Game 5, when one of the teams collapse, once again, a ticket to Worlds is on the line. H2K, they want to return again for former glory. Unicorns of Love, they've never got their chance to play on that stage.
They will still have to go through Fnatic, but winning today will be a big confidence booster for both these teams. H2K, they want to end the curse. They are yet to defeat Unicorns of Love in a series this year. Whereas the Unicorns, their dreams of going to Worlds lie in the balance. Game 5, Dracos. The analyst test predicted it was close. The community predicted it would be close. We've gotten a close series. We've had close games. It's all going to boil down to this.
That's true. We had multiple 3-2 predictions on the desk. Someone's going to be right. Not just hashtag UOL win, not just hashtag H2K win. But a lot on the line for both teams, folks. Game 5 is upon us. Will it be another close game? Will Unicorns of Love find their mid to late game team fights? Will H2K find their early game snowball, or will we see something new from both of these squads? It's time to find out. Unicorns of Love crew in-house. Both a family and a team, all here to support, along with the Chaos Elite. A tense moment for the squad. Ooh. Oh, root collar. They can all go over the wall. Oh, but wait, the turnaround. Vizitachi's actually in so much trouble right now. The Braum level 1 is insanely powerful, and now that they're on the back foot, things are going to get very difficult. Exile may just look for the disengage. A nice start for the Unicorns of Love. One more auto.
They're going for it. More.
The stun. That is going to be Hylissang locked up. He needs to flash out, but first blood, the turnaround from H2K.
So H2K was sitting in wait for UOL to try and make that level 1 play. The root caller, all of them went over the wall, but the big thing was Exile was not there. It was a 4v5 from the beginning. Chachi gets focused down immediately from the get-go, and he's forced to flash. In the end, Hylissang, he saved his flash. He didn't want to try and escape. He ends up giving away his life. And let's just see here. So they have no vision. They're just making a bit of a cheeky prediction. They all go over the wall, and they are not expecting 5 members of H2K to be lying in wait. Really good response there from H2K. Sivir did use both summoners to try and get the kill on Tachachi, and then they realized, Hylissang, you are not going to flash. And at that point, he was probably dead anyway. So good respect being shown there. And the first blood actually goes over to Febiven.
Oh, and fantastic use of the Braum level 1 here from H2K. And got to say, Warlord's Bloodlust also coming in clutch. The movement speed steroid there onto Nuclear. Right as they came over the wall, right as he landed that auto attack, meant that it was pretty easy for him to walk out, and no follow-up CC from Unicorns of Love. That's disastrous. And now Febiven gets to walk into lane with a mana crystal. So much more in the tank. He can all-in Exile at any time with this amount in the pool.
Along with the Corrupting Potion as well, of course. He did start with the Corrupting Potion. Now it's going to be even easier for him to get that very early tier. And for those that might not know, the sooner you get a Tear of the Goddess, the better, because then it can start stacking earlier. So Febiven, you can already see, naturally has early pressure in this lane. Having that extra bit of mana will help him exert his dominance over the Syndra. And for the early laning phase, you're just going to have to struggle. And remember, Cassio undefeated in this series so far, 4-0 for either team that has played it.
And definitely another strong start. Exile's playing with fire here.
It's greedy. Really dangerous. Look at Jankos as well.
Flash E auto could very well kill him. The level up actually going to give him enough health to survive. Jankos is there. Hylissang roaming up as well.
I like this from Hylissang, roaming up into the river. I think they realized that the dive was coming, so they just back away. Or they're there to support him, rather, and now Exile can go base. Hylissang still has flash.
Braum coming in. Blast Cone there. Going to take Jankos with him. just long enough to drop the stacks of the concussive blow. Now wanting to start the fight again. Unicorns love a little bit of aggression. Flash out. Third auto looking for the fourth. They're going to move all in onto Hylissang. Body slam still going to connect. Nuclear comes in over the wall, but in goes the TP. Both TPs being used. Now both going to be canceled. Neither team looking to extend the fight just to trade as summoners.
I thought that when Jankos felt his flash over the wall, Unicorns of Love, they could have picked up a kill, but unfortunately for them, the Braum shield mitigated so much of the damage, and along with that, Xerxes, he's not exactly playing the best early game jungler.
Flash forward, trying to bait the flash out. Blast Cone is there. Exile goes over the wall. Bounce for Odoamne. Moving forward. Boomerang Blade is available. Another kill drops for H2K.
You can see the frustration on Exile's face. He's being put at a pretty significant deficit right now.
We look back. Pressure advantage for Odoamne gives him that kill. First blood for Febiven gave him the lane advantage. H2K building themselves up nicely here in the early game.
And this is what we talked about in draft as well. Jankos has a few options in terms of ganking a few of the lanes, but if he's going to do it anyway, he needs to do it in the solo lanes. If they get leads of their own by getting these early kills, that makes Jankos' life all the more easier, because now you have Odo already in an advantage over Chachi. He's going to continue to push that wave and build into a pretty effective split pusher. In the mid too, Febiven already forcing summoner spells out from Exile is going to put him in a great position to scale nicely into the mid game, where he will offer a lot of value in those team fights. So this early game going very, very good for H2K right now.
At this point, Unicorns of Love may just want to trade back and forth on objectives or kills across the map. Really not a lot of ways for them to come out on top unless they absolutely outplay the competition. Shen quickly approaching level 6 though. Maybe that is their window. That is their opportunity to push for a little bit more. Jankos puts attention to the top side, but not going to force the gank. Still doing well as Xerxes just continues his jungle route, ready to go to the bottom lane if he needs to. Looks like he will move forward. Shutting down the Sivir and the Braum is going to be difficult, but it is possible. Hylissang ready to make a play.
He's got to be careful though. Brand new minion wave is coming in. There's the Flay.
Flay back, moving forward, trying to get him to burn that spell. Show Nuclear so much patience. Blocks the root collar. Fantastic patience from Nuclear.
But they get two summoner spells out from the H2K bottom lane. Bit of pressure being put down. Means that both Samix and Hylissang will now have a lot more control, and should give the ability for Unicorns to get vision around the river too.
And across the series, Vedius, a lot of the time it's looked like it's so much about the bottom lane, which might not be what you expect when you look at H2K and Unicorns of Love, but so much action, so many carry performances on both sides. Samix and Nuclear, when their team is winning, they always look like they're doing so well. Really want to see how they stack up here in this final game.
Look at the top lane. Chachi, he knows the gank is coming.
Moving in. Backing off. Is going to get him to the wall just barely. Wall up connects. He's going to turn into Mininar at the perfect time. It's going to be easy to chase him down now. Hyper proc blocked. Third one's going to connect. Odoamne debating if he wants to kill, and he's going to get it in the end.
Really unlucky there for Vizichachi. He flashes first, then taunts. That means that he is just in range for Odoamne's ultimate to knock him against the wall and allow UOL to get the shutdown. The level 6 mark, so crucial for H2K to make that play up top to prevent the level 6 play down bottom. You can already see 4 members of UOL down here. They're going to try and make this play happen anyway.
Vizichachi is up, does have the ultimate available. Unicorns love trying to get the pressure down. They don't want to overcommit though. They know they're behind on the play. They know that H2K are on the way, and while Shen does have the luxury of showing up almost instantly, may not be enough to win a fight under a tower. Still, solid lead for H2K. 7 minutes into the game, Vedius 11.2 to 9.9. It's exactly the kind of start that H2K want.
Yep, and they're a good team that knows how to use an early game lead as well. We saw in Game 3 when they got this early advantage, they were relentless with how they took apart UOL. And now we see both junglers making their way down to the bottom lane.
Backing off. Jankos moving forward. Hylissang with a quick flay. Hook does not connect. Luckily, Xerxes is there to back up the lineup. Make it a little bit harder for H2K to get anything else. For Unicorns of Love, they're not massively behind. Right now, for the early game, they are. But it's not a deficit they cannot come back from as long as they stop giving up any kind of kill, giving up any kind of opportunity to the side of H2K.
Yeah, I think UOL are in a fine point right now. They scale really well. They have Ivern plus Tristana, which is always something you've got to be scared of. But also, it's one of those things where right now the meta is very much about scaling well. And when you compare champions like Tristana to Sivir, Tristana probably has better single target damage, whereas Sivir has way more teamfight damage because of the ricochets and ability to just bounce all over the place. When you tie into the fact that there's a Braum that can mitigate a lot of the bursts from champions like Syndra and Tristana, a part of me wants to give the late game teamfighting edge over to H2K, especially with a potential Gnar flank. But it very much depends on how well Samix does from this point on, because he's not the one that's been put in any kind of deficit. And you've got this composition that's built around on him succeeding. So I think that there's still a lot of question marks as to how these fights will play out later on, and the fact that H2K have this early lead is great for them. But the onus is on them now to keep that pressure going and start trying to translate these leads around the map.
And once again, not what we expected when we initially looked at this series. Thought there would be a lot of different lanes that might collapse or carry this game, but Nuclear and Samix have both been showing up. Across the series, both looking good. Samix has been suffering a little bit more, but with Sivir and Tristana in their respective hands, interesting that in Game 5, it all comes down to the 80 carries.
I think both have been stepping up. Samix, he really has been the MVP for the Unicorns throughout the regular season. He's just had a really stand-up performance, especially when you consider where he's come from at the beginning of the year, joining the Unicorns of Love and then getting this far.
Not
really
playing
impressive.
80 carry professionally prior to this.
Yep, he's shown a lot of growth, and then the fact that he was the most consistent player during summer and really kept Unicorns of Love at the top of the standings. He just deserves a lot of acknowledgement, as now the bottom lane goes for a fight.
Box comes out, just gonna stun him up. Nice use of the wall. Hylissang biting off more than he can chew. You do not win that all-in against the Unbreakable. Ottawamne is now here as well. Third proc from the Hyper going to come in, and Fevin just going to keep chasing down Xerxes. Out comes the Shen ultimate. They don't have enough damage to burst him down. That means Vizichachi's going to get the taxi ride into the fight. But Ottawamne is off to the side. Going to knock him right back into the wall. Samix cleaned up as well. H2K going off an impressive fight, but Unicorns of Love do manage to fire back at the end of the day. 6-1 now the kill score. Nuclear looking to make it 7-1, does get rooted up, but Gnar, you cannot escape this champion. One more auto attack, Boomerang doesn't connect. Exile with the fancy footwork, looks like he's gonna make it out, but the body slam flash, one more auto attack, Lantern too far away. Hook comes in, Hylissang wants to continue the play going. I don't know if this is the right choice. They do not have the damage to kill these targets. They might have enough to take down Jankos. Ottawamne now in a potential position to take out Hylissang, but he's just gonna leap right over the wall. Third Hyper Brock not going to happen. Unicorns love picking up what they can, but a massive advantage to H2K.
What a chaotic fight. So many things happened, but at the end of the day, H2K are the team that win overall. They get so many kills, and all starts down here in the bottom lane. Unicorns of Love, they try to force a 2v2 fight. No TP comes out from the Shen. No ultimate comes out from the Shen. They literally just sit and wait for their support to die. A lot of question marks for here, but I feel like that they were just waiting to try and turn around this skirmish that was happening in the river. Immediate ultimate onto Xerxes, but the bottom lane, they've already lost, so it's so much easier for Che and Nuclear to rotate up, and then Samix doesn't realize, there is a Gnar right behind me. He gets interrupted, he gets thrown into the wall. Nuclear picks up an early kill, and sure, they end up shutting down the Braum, but H2K, they can just go on the warpath and chase down the rest of Unicorns.
One thing we missed in the initial replay, beautiful flash ult coming in from the Braum, hits 3 members on the side of Unicorns of Love. Good turnaround, good confidence from Hylissang. I thought this play could have gone so wrong, but they see the empty mana bar, they continue to follow up, and they know Ottawamne not quite strong enough for the 2v1.
That Ivern DPS, pretty insane, but still, H2K, 2,500 gold lead, 12 minutes in. Things not looking amazing for the Unicorns. And remember, yes, we talk about how Unicorns, they do have a good scaling composition, but H2K are in a very similar position, and they're on track to reach that point fast. Abyssal Mass already done for Febiven. It's going to make it so much harder for the Unicorns of Love squad to really apply pressure.
Ooh, and Vizichachi definitely losing out in the pressure game. Black Cleaver completed versus just the Tiamat means Vizichachi is struggling. Whenever that taunt is used, it gives Ottawamne free hits onto the tower. And Vedius, I feel like Shen definitely not, you know, the latest game scaling champion. Of course, Spirit's Refuge, the ability to block auto attacks is going to be key against the Sivir, but when you look at how much of a threat Gnar is on the side lane, Black Cleaver Frozen Mallet against a Shen, if Shen can't win the all-in, he's just going to drop. Yanko's moving forward, but no flash from the earlier play means he can't follow that one up.
I mean, for sure, you're very right. Like, in the late game, Gnar is always one of the best split pushers, but it's really difficult for me to forget Vizichachi playing Shen, where he 1v5'd H2K, like literally nearly got a kill. So it's one of those things where you just have to bear in mind whoever gets the lead in that matchup can often swing the side lane very much so, depending on how big the lead is. And I feel like Odo has a pretty significant lead.
Maybe 3-0-4 looking like a pretty good lead.
Very healthy
As they like to say in the solo queue, he's fed.
Yes. That's what the youngins are saying. Now Hillsang looking for a hook.
Ooh, nice bait and switch. Moving in on the Che, but the immediate exhaust and the leap out, they're not looking to keep the fight going. Vizicachi once again, not the most effective ultimate coming in from the Shen.
But look at that tier 2 in the top lane. Odo Wamne, there's now nothing standing in his way. He can just keep on pushing. UOL, yes, they get 1 tower back, but this level 6 play, this wanted to happen many minutes ago. But H2K did a good job of going top early, preventing Chachi from making this kind of play happen. And it's always UOL that are on the back foot. H2K, they're off to, well, they're controlling this first part of the map very, very effectively.
And honestly, Unicorns of the Love are the one that tried to start that play. They're trying to engage, they're trying to force things, they're trying to make things happen. But it is counting against them. At the end of the day, though, top lane tower doesn't drop, mid lane tower doesn't drop, and Nuclear pretty good in those scenarios, but may not be able to 1v1 Vizicachi. Vizicachi hungry to bring this back, should have enough damage to kill him, waiting on the dash, the flash forward, one more auto is going to do it, the solo kill from the Shen.
Chachi finally at least gets something for himself, a solo kill down onto Nuclear. The heal was even used, but Nuclear's flash was unavailable. The fans trying to give their support to the team as Chachi is looking to escape.
Knock back, moving forward. Hillsang gonna pull him out. Hook does manage to connect, but the team is not there for the follow-up. They're backing off. They don't want to double down on that engage and risk anything else.
H2K, they still have pressure on the middle lane though. Big wave bottom and top 2. Feathervin should be more than enough wave clear to hold on to this mid tier 1. We've now got to think about what Unicorns of Love can do to come back into this game. We want to see Exile maybe try and force a few picks here and there. It's very difficult onto the composition of H2K, especially with a Braum lingering around, wanting to just shield up a lot of the damage. But there's still that possibility of getting to the late game. Tristana, yes, still a little bit behind now after that death. But it's still the big win condition for H2K. If they can just look to funnel more resources onto Samux. If he can get a kill here or there, that's a great way for them to stand a chance in these late game fights.
Now trying to keep this going. The siege coming in, utilization of that Tristana, a lot of confidence from the Unicorns of Love lineup. They're gonna get a tower to that. They're gonna start to bring the gold lead back into their control, still behind, but not quite as big as it once was. Smart macro play comes from the team.
So a bit of a quick stat for you, Dracos, on this momentous day. The last time that H2K won a best-of-5 series was against SK in April of 2015. That was quite a while ago.
Wow. Okay, sir, one back for you.
Go.
The longest playing veterans in the EU LCS that have not been to Worlds are Power of Evil, Hillsang, and Vizicachi.
Wow.
3 members formerly of Unicorns of Love. Power of Evil has already punched that ticket. Vizicachi and Hillsang could be next, so it's going to take a win here.
So much on the line for both these teams. It'll mean so much for UOL to finally make it to Worlds after what has been, I want to say, one of their best years, but then they ended up losing in the quarterfinals.
It was an up and down year.
It was
an up and down year. Fantastic spring, pretty rough summer. But if they can come back, if they can bring it through the gauntlet, yeah, it's not the prettiest way to get to Worlds, but it'll get you there. And punching that ticket is all that matters.
But also for H2K, chatting to Prolly, he was like, we're actually happy we didn't qualify on points because we wanted to prove that we deserve it. And we didn't want, we wanted to show that we can beat the top teams here in Europe. We wanted to show that we can make it on our own hard work and determination. And they took down Splice. They now have the ability to finally take down their year-long rivals of the Unicorns of Love. And all that stands in their way would be Fnatic, who they went to 5 games with in the 3rd place match.
And after the game 1, it's kind of surprising that we made it all the way to the game 5. We can call them rivals. But for most of the year, it just looked like Unicorns of Love would call this a free win. Consistently dominating in the series, but this time around, H2K have improved significantly. Firing back, not letting their emotions get the best of them as they push further into the game. But it's a terrifying spot to be in. Odo Wamne still doing well against Vizicachi, but Xerxes just continues to be scarier and scarier. However, the 1v1 happening. Odo's just going to keep the pressure up. Vizicachi not afraid to take those trades.
I've noticed a severe lack of prioritization onto the Rift Herald this series as well. I feel like both teams don't really want to try and commit or fight over it. They're much happy to just stay in lane, take the farm, scale up a little bit more. But I want to take this opportunity to quickly look across some of the items. Xerxes 2-0-0 now completed both the Ardent Sensor and Redemption. So Samix, even though he's only on one item, technically he's on two because of the support that he will get from his jungler. But H2K, they still have a lot more control over the map. They are even on turrets. The gold is heavily in their favor thanks to how well their laners are doing and thanks to that pretty significant kill lead.
Canceling some backs here as well may give them a slight edge. But what was once super H2K favored is slowing down so much. Hook goes on to Jankos. Team is ready to engage. He is in trouble. Where's the ulti going to land? Does not have it. That means Jankos is dead. Kill donated over to Samix.
Good pick there from the Unicorns of Love. And Samix is the one to find this kill. This is a good setup for the Unicorns of Love, but also H2K. They can't afford to be making these kind of mistakes in a game 5. Walling through the river alone, trying to clear out vision. You have a Braum there to help you set up for these kind of plays. It's big misplay there from Jankos, but he literally has no idea as to who could be in the darkness. And he ends up paying for it.
It's a rough life. Hylissang on this Thresh was banned away. Last game, it was him flashing in at every opportunity, trying to force plays this time around. A little different, or rather in game 3. It's been a long series, Vedius. Both teams learning and adapting over the course of it. Xerxes showing us both the Kayn and now also the Ivern, whereas Exile proved himself a steady hand at these meta mid laners. Syndra and Cassio, his only picks thus far.
To be fair, Xerxes was close to playing a different champion every single game. He played Rumble, he's played Kayn, he's played Sejuani, he's played Ivern, and now he's played Ivern once again. So definitely demonstrating a depth of champ pool. Now look at the stun in mid.
Ooh, nice block comes in from Che.
Ah, Braum shield, super obnoxious. Just seeing how oppressive it can be once you catch a target out. Can be really effective against these kind of pick comps with the Thresh and Syndra, for example.
Have to be careful, though. Can't afford to keep getting caught like that in the mid lane. Have to respect the long-range stun potential coming in from Exile on this Syndra. And Hylissang, this is Hylissang when he's feeling comfortable. Fearless, moving forward. You can see why, because Samix is there to back him up. But On the Hunt is burned just to make sure Che can make it out safely. Has to be careful, though. Root Caller still coming in. And on the bottom side, H2K do have an advantage. Maybe that is something they can play around.
Chachi being forced back to base. Only level 12 to the 13 of Odo. Now the Frozen Mallet has been completed, and that's where things really start to get awkward for the Shen. If you thought that you were getting kited before, now you're going to get perma-slowed, as Che will get hooked up, but
caught out once again.
He's Braum, and he will ignore the damage.
Decent start, Unbreakable plays clutch. Vizichachi actually just slowly losing this tower. This will eventually go down. Unicorns of Love need to find a play elsewhere if they want to stop this pressure.
Well, the thing is, what you want to do is you want to try and force plays around the Baron, but UOL don't feel strong enough yet to really commit to a 5v5, so they're mainly just focusing on vision and waiting for Samix to get to that point. Now the hook will land.
Che, so much patience, has not burned the flash, still holding on to it. He's going to see a few of those wards. Samix still moving to the top side. The endless 1v1 between Vizichachi and Ottawamne over the last few games just continues. This time very Ottawamne favored. Samix has to be careful, but Hylissang and Exile are on the way. On the Hunt, not available quite yet. He needs to make it out to safety, has to sidestep, has to be patient. What CC is he going to block? Now Che is going to flash, but a perfect hook comes in. Goodbye to Nuclear. Unbreakable, not in position to stop this from happening. Unicorns of Love, they find advantage on the top side.
Nuclear was not expecting to get hit by that hook. Really good play from Hylissang, because this is going to open up the map a lot more, but Ottawamne, he's putting pressure down onto that tier 2 in the bottom.
Gonna leap forward. Ottawamne hungry for the kill as well. Febiven has to back off, has to play safe. Che still trying to find the disengage. That's the 3-man knockup. Now retreating to safety with the Unbreakable. Will lead back to Febiven. Miasma stops anything else from happening. Meanwhile, Vizichachi has died. Gnar is uncontested on the bottom side of the map. Unicorns of Love have to make a play before this creep wave hits the tower, or they could find themselves with an exposed inhibitor.
Didn't even notice that the Shen died in that exchange. Exile doing what he can to hold mid. Jankos.
Forward, Jankos. Petrifying Gaze not going to find it. Hylissang now in no man's land. He does not have the Alistar, he does not have the luxury, does not have the safety. Slowly, Ottawamne chips down, but the Tristana is on the way. He needs to run if he wants to make it out. Febiven hungry for that tower, moves forward. One more auto, not enough. One more auto will take it down. H2K still in control. 3K gold lead in their favor.
And And H2K, they just have to not die while Odo is split pushing, because he is so strong that he can win the game alone at this point. Just rely on him to carry on the side lane. UOL do not have enough answers to the pressure that he is putting down, but instead they're just falling prey to these little skirmishes that UOL are forcing across the board. It's good on Hylissang to be able to land all these hooks, but at the same time, H2K, they need to show a little bit more respect. Concede that tier 1 in the top lane. Is it really that big of a deal 23 minutes into the game? They need to be making these decisions and realize that their big win condition right now is Odo Omni.
404, Gargoyle Stoneplate now as well. Leaps in, burns the combo in Mega Gnar, now will just be essentially immune to damage for any follow-up.
Also remember that what you were waiting for is their AD carry to get stronger. He's now completed the static Shiv. You have all the support ready on Xerxes with the Redemption, with the Ardent Sensor. He's only getting it stronger as he continues to build support items. And Samix is in a position where he can become that hyper carry. So UOL, they're feeling a lot more confident. They're feeling ready to try and force these fights. And that's going to drag Odo towards the Baron. Now, he's still very strong. He can still win these fights for H2K, but it's more on UOL's terms being able to fight like this.
That's the replay we see. Didn't see it on screen, mostly because it wasn't exciting compared to the fight we had, but you can see Hyper pretty good against tanks. Nice start from Exile. No follow-up, though, as Recaller does not connect. Shield makes sure that he doesn't take any damage. H2K, though, taking priority lane. Gargoyle Stoneplate is up and available. Odo Omni going to have to leap to safety. Mega Gnar on the way, going to make it harder for him to get away. Decent amount of damage. Nuclear has killed Hylissang. In the meantime, there's a fight going on. Knocked back, wall up and available. He can get the double stun. Now running for his life, waiting for Mini-Gnar. Is going to use the crunch to get out of there. H2K have taken down a member of Unicorns of Love. 2 members have given it to the bottom side, and that means H2K have an open track to the Baron.
H2K, they've done exactly what they needed to. Not only has Odo stayed alive, but they even get a kill down onto Hylissang. The only option here is if UOL can get some kind of a miracle steal.
Odo Omni coming in, does so much damage. That is a very vulnerable Ivern. 1v2 over the wall. Odo Omni trying to hold on. The flash over from Febiven. That's a clutch play for the squad. They're going to try to keep it going. Febiven may just drop, but the Unbreakable is beautiful. Still, he's going to pop. The Baron is going to drop. H2K are in complete control.
It does not matter because H2K get everything that they want. Febiven sacrifices his life to give H2K the Baron. They're 11-6 in kills, and they get everything. So let's have a look at how this play starts. Hylissang, because there is no need to make this play. Your AD carry is bot. They're trying to set something up onto Odo Omni, and he just gives away his life. This is the up and down performances that we have seen from Hylissang, and it could very well have just cost his team the game. Keep your eyes on Febiven in this play. He flashes over the wall. He wants to keep Xerxes out. Beautiful CC landed onto the Ivern, and even though he gives away his life, he knows now that there is no threat of a jungle steal. And H2K secure and walk out happy.
Very close. Very high-risk play, but Yanko's feeling good.
He thanks his mid laner there. Good job, dude.
He says good. He remembers G2 Game 1. He remembers the Nunu, the perfect smite. How Trick managed to take it away. He's not going to let it happen again. Febiven has got his back, and now 5-0-5 stands Odo Omni, yet to die, escaped from the 2v1 scenario on the bottom side of the map. What?
Oh.
Oh.
Cool. Anyway, H2K trying to siege now onto this mid tier 1 while Odo continues to cause chaos in the bottom lane.
Yeah, Xerxes on the way to back him up. 4 members strong, though, from H2K, as you mentioned, in the middle lane, pushing down for that tier 2 tower. Once again, you look at the Unicorns of Love lineup. It is all about Samix. It is all about the rest of the team supporting him as they move further. He's hit 3 items. He has that Energizer build. Static Shiv, Rapid Fire Cannon, the Infinity Edge. He has the lifesteal. He has the sustain necessary, courtesy of the Ivern. Unbreakable once again denying these nice fights, and already Gnar was winning on the bottom side. Baron buff only makes it easier, and Hylissang still fishing for hooks, but nobody is around to follow up.
I think UOL, they just have to concede this tier 2 in the mid because they need to send multiple members down to the bottom lane if they want to stand a chance. Now, here comes Samix.
The one running for his life does manage to get the double bounce. Leaping out, Frozen Mallet is there, but Samix is going to run him down, going to try to find the kill, is going to get the shutdown. Big gold swing over to the AD carry of Unicorns of Love.
This will slow H2K down. They still have 4 Baron buff members available. Hylissang, your AD carry is not there just yet.
Hit the hook, the cooldown will be reduced, but On the Hunt just makes an easy escape for H2K.
Just going to back off. They get the mid-tier 1. And UL, they're able to collapse onto Odo. They do kill him. He loses his flash. Now they may have just pulled out Che.
In trouble, leaps back. Maya's going to keep him safe from now. Stops the advance. Vizicachi with the ultimate up and available means he can join the fight at any moment. Only 40 seconds left on the Baron buff. Big fat top wave for H2K if they have the chance to push it in. With time running short, with Hillison waiting in the wings, looking for the flank. He's going to be the submarine for the Shen. Does manage to land the two-man instantly. The follow-up CC. Unicorns love looking to turn it. Nuclear has been locked down. Spell Shield comes out. He's in the middle of the team, but he's still dishing out damage. Is he going to die? Yes, in the end. Jankos manages to get a kill back of his own. Fevin is going to get taken down. Vizicachi trying to make the hero play. Odoamne in the back. He is ready to come in, but Vizicachi is hungry for blood. Unbreakable stops the follow-up. Odoamne wants to get the cleanup kill. Vizicachi so hungry to make the play. That's the double kill. The shutdown coming in from Odo.
What an insane fight from both sides. I thought Fevin was dead, but somehow he's able to stay alive. He was just able to complete his the shield item that I forget the name of. Oh my word, what a crazy engagement from both sides. Odo, he's still trying to chase. They know where the Ivan is.
Pinging it out. Boomerang. Oh no. That's it. Oh my God, Odoamne. This man is a monster. 8-1-5. 3 kills to clean up that fight for his team, and that was so good from Unicorns of Love, but H2K.
This is the best case scenario for the Unicorns. They get onto Fevin. Look at how much damage he takes initially, but then he's able to just at the last second get the shielding and redemption on top of that. So he's just sitting there, tunneling all of his damage down onto Samix. He knows as long as he dies, we can still win the fight. The only reason here why things are looking so good for Unicorns is because they have a numbers advantage, but the moment Odo joins the fray, things just end in disaster.
Vizicachi doesn't have to be scared of the vast majority of the H2K lineup, but he has to be scared of Odoamne. Not going to neglect the Cloud Drake as well. Things looking good for H2K right now. 7K gold advantage, 30 minutes in. I think we can safely say that that is a major lead. Now Nuclear pushing on the bottom side. Unicorns Love have to think carefully about their next move. They lose an all-in this close to their base. If they lose a full team fight, the game will just end in the favor of H2K.
H2K, they're looking really good right now. They're on track to break the curse, go up against Fnatic tomorrow in the final round of the Gauntlet. That will be a crazy best of 5, but the Unicorns, they don't want to give up just yet. They have fought hard in this series. Samix, he's now going on to Odo.
Playing back. Odo's still confident. Odo's still comfortable.
The star pick, man.
Dude, you can see Jankos' player cam just shaking a little bit. He's tapping his foot so furiously on the ground. I think we've all been there. You know that anxiety. You know that hesitation. He knows next fight could decide the game. This is an insane amount of pressure, but H2K have not crumbled yet. Still, though, at any moment, man, this Tristana, if she gets the chance to just go off in a fight, if Braum is not there to body block, it could be disaster.
H2K, though, they still have a 7,000 gold lead that cannot afford to be underestimated. A lot of it is on Odoamne. Fevin, he's been doing a lot of work in these team fights as well. He has a pretty significant lead over his mid lane counterpart. And unfortunately for Exile, oh, here we go, fight, starting off.
Hunt used, Jankos ready, no flash, is going to move forward. Shen ult used defensively, not ideal for the Unicorns.
Okay, so they much rather use the Shen ulti than the flash. The cooldown is shorter, and they keep their mid laner alive. But that is now 90 seconds, a minute and a half, where UL will not have that advantage. Now, only one Cloud Drake has died this game, so Elder Dragon, still strong objective, but less value. The more important objective will be that Baron, spawning in about 10 seconds time. There is zero vision from the Unicorns of Love, pretty much anywhere on the map. So H2K, this should be a free play for them, especially with Odo constantly pushing in the bottom lane.
They're also just on a very advantageous side. Blue side, much easier to access the pit. Red side, much riskier to go for that play. Of course, a Blast Cone and the short distance to Baron does mean easy access for Xerxes with that Root Caller if he wants to try and steal, but a Miasma can shut that down. Fevin flashing over the wall again can shut that down. One of these teams really needs to find a pick if they want to find a win, especially for the Unicorns of Love. But H2K, maybe they can just play this out slow and steady. They have the pressure point on the bottom side.
Death cap now completed for Exile. It's really going to help his burst. Bit of a risky build. If he ever gets jumped on top of, he will die pretty quickly.
Yeah, but if he doesn't kill somebody, Vedius, then it's all for naught anyway.
Here we go, Odo. Level 18 now. That tower's going to drop very, very soon. Good trade here from Chachi, though.
He's going to take it down. Bouncing out of there. Inhibitor breaking open, especially on the bottom side, would be massive for H2K.
Yeah. And the big thing here is that H2K, they only have to be patient. They don't need to force the Baron because UOL, they're the ones that always have to make sure they have vision around it. They can't afford it to be just very quickly stolen away. Remember, Cassie are really good at taking down this objective. UOL, they're the ones that are forced to try and find something.
Calling the bluff from H2K, just going to push down the mid lane. Says, hey, you either take the Baron or you come fight us, but we're going to get this tier 2. Putting down as much damage as they can.
Sivirol.
Vizijachi waiting. Has to be far away from the Gnar, and he knows it. But Odoamne is already here.
Huh, interesting. He decided to just group. I guess he was concerned about the possible collapse from the Unicorns. But now they are 5 men, and Odoamne, funnily enough, on his way back to bot. So that top lane is pushing in the favor of Unicorns. They want to make sure they have control over mid so they can get some vision back around the Baron area.
A lot of respect coming out from H2K. Realized that they could get flanked by the Unicorns of Love, not falling for the Baron bait, have the luxury of the blue trinket to give them that sight. TP coming out from Vizijachi is...
Wait, what?
He canceled. TP'd back to a Nexus tower. I don't know what happened. I have to assume that that was a misclick, but now Odoamne is just going to run him down. Vizijachi doesn't really have any outs, the Flash being the last one of them. Odoamne is going to keep the pressure up. Unicorns of Love are retreating. They are collapsing. Not any options left. A second mini Gnar comes in here. It's a massive advantage, but no creep wave.
I don't fully understand the Flash. I don't fully understand the TP, but at the very least, both top laners have burnt Flash. UOL will still have the Shen ultimate, so if a fight does kick off, he can still join the fray. But now
Odo doesn't even need a creep wave. There's no tower there. He can just get an inhibitor for free.
Yeah, but now look at the positioning that UOL have around the Baron. Here we go. They're going for it. H2K, no. Odoamne has his TP. This could be it, Dracos.
Be careful. Do not want to fight them in the pinch. Nuclear going to hit. Exile does so much damage. Jay is there to body block. Nuclear still alive. Unleashed power, not enough. Gnar is on the backside. Eyes on the Gnar. Frozen Mallet coming in. Xerxes, there is no escape. If he wants to chase this one down, but he doesn't want to take the risk. H2K say, hey, we're happy to just take this Baron. We're happy to close this out clean and simple. Xerxes, the last hope. He needs to smite, steal this away, but he is running for his life. H2K with yet another brilliant play to secure the Baron.
We talked about how this build was risky for Exile. He is so squishy. If H2K are able to get on top of him, they do, and even through the Shen shield, they're not able to protect him, and because there was no teleport available on Chachi, he could not join the fight. So just keep your eyes on the positioning of Exile. He's here. He wants to try and get onto Nuclear. He makes one bad step. He gets knocked if he gets hard CC. He does not flash out, and the best he can do is get his ulti down onto Nuclear, but that isn't enough to kill him. With him down, there's nothing that H2K have to be afraid of, other than UOL, Samix rather, but Chachi isn't there. They have 5 members to 3. They take the ban, now they're going to take the Elder.
Not the biggest buff, but 90 extra damage for each and every member of this team is a terrifying prospect, especially when you look at that Sivir. Those ricochets, the 4 items build, and working towards the 5th. H2K completely in control of this game. There's even an open inhibitor set directly in their sights. Odo, he's going to keep up the split push. Unicorns of Love, they're going to have to group. They're going to have to hold on and pray that they can find a team fight win, because that is their last out as long as H2K have this Baron buff.
Well, we're going to need some miracle fight if they want to beat H2K right now. They are so strong. Yes, gold means less this later into the game, but it still cannot be ignored. Look at how hard Nuclear hits. All of the eggs were put into the Samix basket, and H2K said, well, you know what? We're just going to make sure that we kill everything around that basket.
Vizijachi not near the team. Ultimate is up. Teleport will be up shortly, but it means they're giving up their second inhibitor.
They might have to concede this. I don't know. If they fight now, it could end in disaster. I think they just have to walk away.
You're right. They are going to walk away in the end. Though saying Fishage for the hook isn't going to find it.
So, yeah, Chachi pushes out top, so that means that there's no minion wave to then allow H2K to very quickly transition over to that final inhibitor tower as well. So, UOL, they realize, you know what, let's not go for a gamble fight. Let's just play safe. This is our last chance. They're just going to keep on scaling, rely on the true late-game Samix Tristana.
But once again, Unicorns of Love have built themselves an arena. One last tower, one last stand. against H2K. If triple inhibitors go down, there is really no way they can come back. One fight could change that all. H2K grouped, Odoamne holding down the fort. Unicorns of Love maybe hoping to fire back in the middle lane, stop the waves from collapsing so they can get the freedom to fight on the top side. But with a Sivir there, the auto attack reset on Ricochet, she is going to tear through those towers.
We're reaching the climax of this series, Dracos. Both teams have fought hard. It has been extremely close.
Look on the Jankos. XL takes a ton of damage. Now on the hunt is being used. Samus has to retreat. H2K, eyes on the prize. Not getting greedy, not going for too much. All they want is that inhibitor. Double cannon wave to back them up as well. Stacked up beautifully. And it's going to be hard pressed. TP comes in from Vizicachi. He's ready to keep this going. Mid lane wave starting to collapse in. Unicorns of Love need to pick their fight. They need to pick it now. Taunt does manage to connect onto Che. Exile is so low. The team is split up by the Gragas. H2K are moving in. Hylissang is next to fall. Nuclear is still alive. He is untouched. H2K, they did not choke. They did not fall. They did not let their nemesis get them again. One last team fight to decide it all, Vedias, but here is where H2K win. Here is where H2K find victory in the best of 5, where pressure does not get the best of them, and where they will move on to face Fnatic tomorrow.
Only one best of 5 stands in the way of H2K and finally making it to Worlds once again. This team has struggled under pressure. During playoffs, they are yet to perform, but in this gauntlet, they have demonstrated that they can compete with the best in Europe. They finally break their curse against the Unicorns of Love. And they just looked so good. Odoamne stepping up so massively in that final game. Nuclear and Che having consistently good performances throughout the series. Jankos and Febiven demonstrating their synergy, the whole team finally coming together when it mattered most.
And when you wonder why Deficio, every time he sees anything remotely positive from H2K, goes, I think they can do it, this is why. It's because this is H2K at their finest. Team playing as a whole, Odoamne, a monster on the side lane. Not something we've seen from him in a while. Febiven and Jankos playing well together. Nuclear and Che went from getting dominated in the 2v2 to dominating. It's a good look for the team coming into the matchup tomorrow, but it is a hard road for H2K. Took a series win against Splice 3-0. Easy peasy, no problem. 5 games here that has to weigh on you. Pressure just continues to mount, and while they conquered it today, the greatest challenge is tomorrow.
And heartbreak for the Unicorns of Love. They had, as you rightly said, an up and down year, but during the regular season, they still looked good throughout the year. Many thought that this would be their best opportunity to make it to the World Championship. Many veteran players wanted to finally get that shot at the world stage. And unfortunately, they will not be able to do it. But they fought extremely hard. They showed a lot of good stuff. But H2K were the team that were able to come out on top of the day.
Well earned. Proving a lot of people wrong. After the dominant game 1, I didn't think they would recover. Proving me wrong, I guess, in this case. It's just across the board, quite impressive. How they adapted over the course of the series. How they played, even when the Ivern looked so good, not banning away, not knee-jerk reaction to take it off the board. Staying confident that they could out-execute, adapting their pick and ban. If we look back, I think the first semifinal we casted, Splice versus H2K, they picked the same thing over and over again, and it worked against them, and now we see that growth from H2K. It took a while, but they found it, and it's a good look for them. H2K got their revenge on the Unicorns of Love today. Let's head over to the analyst desk to wrap up the day.
Thank you very much, guys. Fantastic to see for H2K. Don't make it all about you, but they needed the fade.
No, this was thumbs up to the casters for a great cast.
And thumbs up to H2K. Honestly, I just want to take a moment to see how monumental this is. They hadn't been able to beat the Unicorns of Love in 2017. They dropped out of the playoffs. In Paris, it wasn't all good because they didn't win that third place match. So they were up against it, H2K, but they beat Splice yesterday. They've now beaten the Unicorns of Love, probably their biggest nemesis until tomorrow. So Gillies, they deserve all props today.
Definitely. I think it was a really disciplined performance by them. They were patient today. This is what was lacking for them against Fnatic as example, and just some individual play from Fabian and Odoamne, just to point out, it was excellent.
Really good adaptations also coming into the last game with the draft. You know, they were on blue side. It could be a bit tricky with all the different counter picks that Xerxes would have, and even Rizichachi. But then, like, first picking Cassiopeia was super huge.
5-0 on the series.
Exactly, and then also getting the Gnar in that first rotation, knowing that Chachi didn't really have anything he could hard counter it with. So that was really smart by Prolly and the team to actually set themselves up for a lot of success here in the last game.
Yeah, fantastic. And at the beginning of the day, we were very excited for Gilius joining us on the desk. And H2K's victorious top laner Odoamne then tweeted, "If we win today, bring me up on the analyst desk so I can wipe the floor with Gilius." Where is he, Gilius?
Yeah, that's pretty weird because he won and we invited him to the analyst desk and he didn't show up. I think that's a little pussy move, a little keyboard warrior move, so a bit confusing.
A bit confusing. However, we're going to set the record straight. H2K also said we just don't want to do interviews if we win because they want to be as prepared as possible for tomorrow. And we also want to
if you tweet that, then you got to show up, you know.
You got to show up on the day. But Odoamne also showed up on the Rift. It was difficult to decide who would be the player of the series, but Odoamne deserves it for this one, especially in a lot of situations where he wasn't in the best position in the laning phase, but he did really well in team fights.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you can look at a Game 3 score and be like, man, that looks like a bad game. But like, he was 0-4, and then he actually turned it around in some really good team fights on this Rumble here. The Gnar game in the last game here was fantastic as well. So Odoamne today actually managed to have a lot of impact despite sometimes falling behind, and I think that's something that was very valuable because he was better in team fights than Vizichachi was, and that was a very key thing for H2K.
Yeah, our votes were like switching around between
5 times.
Yeah, between Fabian and Odoamne. Both played a phenomenal series, but in the last game we were set to go with Odoamne because he hard carried that game. And the question today was like, which top laner is gonna carry harder, right? And Odoamne really proved us wrong.
He did. To close off the predictions, you were right, 3-2 for H2K. You were 2015 Gilius with your predictions.
I did jump ship though during the way, but that was actually just to anti-jinx H2K to give them that push they needed to win the series, because right back on the H2K hype train.
Gotcha. Let's take a look at a couple of highlights from Game 5 because we were singing the praise of H2K, which we should. They won. They're moving on. I do want to close off kind of the Unicorns of Love chapter with that, you know, that thing that has haunted them for so long, the going in when you didn't have to, and the needless trades at times, it cost them today.
It did. It's cost them a lot during the year. I just, like, I feel bad for them because Spring Split, they made the final once again, like after they've kind of missed the final for a few splits, and then they go up against G2, they lose. But yet it still felt like this was like the year Unicorns of Love will finally make make Worlds. Then going into Summer Split, it was like they were a step behind, especially after Rift Rivals, compared to, you know, like a G2 or Fnatic as well, and even H2K doing some of the regular season, except for when they played each other, and now in this best of 5 as well, H2K ended up winning. So no Worlds for Unicorns again, and this was their best chance, I really felt like.
Yeah. Pretty tragic.
And they collected a lot of points as well, right, in the first split. So they were good, like they had a really big shot to make it to Worlds this time, but I really hope that Hylissang and Vizichachi will like evolve next year, you know, like I see like what's lacking in their play is just patience. They just need to calm down a bit. Like there's no time bomb running in the game. You just take it easy, set up the vision and then fight instead of instantly fighting without vision all the time. So I just hope next year that,
I mean, it's been
they can change that.
3 years though.
It's kind of been their playstyle for such a long time, and they might not be able to change it, and just the player mindset. I think another thing Unicorns really will hopefully take from this Summer Split is it took them way too long to figure out what is the meta, how do we play the meta, and especially for Exile. Because in this series, he played all the, like the Syndra, Cassiopeia, he played much better in this specific series than the entire split long. And it took them basically 3 months to get to this point. Imagine if they've gone against Misfits in a quarterfinal, actually playing with an Exile like this one, with these champions as well. It could have been a completely different series.
Yeah, that's ununderstandable.
I mean,
it's unacceptable it takes this long.
It's a shame to think about that in the quarterfinals he played Talon and Vladimir when the meta was definitely not Talon and Vladimir. It was Syndra, Orianna, Cassio. So
And he has great records on Syndra and Cassio, so maybe it's
was
also
really
it
good
has
on
to
them.
work.
so
yeah.
weird, yeah.
Right, we could talk forever about the Unicorns of Love, but we have to talk about tomorrow. H2K is going up against Fnatic for this final spot from Europe at Worlds 2017. And a lot of what I heard here was, you know what, it doesn't matter. Fnatic will be the absolute favorite and should take it tomorrow, right?
Fnatic will have a huge advantage in the fact they've been able to watch H2K now play both Friday and Saturday. So they've seen all the picks.
Yeah.
They've seen all the different things that's happening in-game from H2K as well. They also just played H2K in the third place game and beat them. So in many ways, Fnatic should be the favorites.
Yeah.
However, this H2K lineup, first of all, we don't know how serious they took the third place game in Paris. And also now they've actually gotten so much momentum and confidence moving forward. Like, it might be another 5-game series, which is kind of scary for me, even though I think Fnatic would be the slight favorites.
Also, every time we've said, and we've heard from a lot of analysts this year, before Rift Rivals, Fnatic is going to take it no matter, I mean, everyone said that, right? No matter what. When we were ahead of playoffs and we went into that Misfit series, everyone said, Fnatic will take this.
Yeah.
This is kind of similar. It feels to me like a lot of people are very confident tomorrow in Fnatic, but I need to see it happening.
Yeah,
I need to see
they
it
didn't
happening.
do well with expectations yet. But I really hope that they just don't play Ashe tomorrow and give Reckless a high damage champ and he's just gonna absolutely go off.
Yeah, the bot lane should be very one-sided in favor of Jessis and Reckless, especially if they can get the better matchup. Top lane is where H2K found some success in the series against Fnatic, where Odamna and Jankos together actually got some leads that were very valuable. And mid lane was fairly even. So it might be like almost split up on the map on where each team wants to play, but it's so interesting because H2K have now been forced to prep for Splice, then prep for Unicorns of Love, and now they have 1 day to prep for Fnatic again, just like a week ago. That is tough, man. That is super hard, and you're really riding on the fact that you really believe you're playing the correct champions and the correct way, and again, that confidence, that's kind of what they're riding on at the moment.
And I think the drafts will decide a lot tomorrow because both teams prioritize Gnar really high on the top lane,
Yeah.
Cassiopeia in the mid lane, Tristana, Shaya on AD. So yeah, like drafting will play a huge point as well.
Yeah, it's going to be super interesting. I think you may have tilted Broxa a bit with your last analyst desk appearance.
Yeah, I will give him some confidence. I hope you do really well tomorrow, Broxa. I believe in you.
You've been quite calm today, Gilius. Is
Yeah.
the severity of the situation, the world?
Nah, I think I was a bit too harsh on Broxa last time. He just has an issue like with adapting to different champions because he's just a young player, he's new. And I think when he plays on one patch and actually spams that few champs, he plays quite well on them. Like his Gragas performance the last time he played was pretty good, so I believe in him.
We'll see. It's going to be super, super hype. Another best of 5, the 3rd in a row for H2K. Thank you guys for joining me on the desk. Gilius, we will be seeing you tomorrow on the desk as well, so that'll be
Can't
great.
wait.
But that was all from us in Berlin. Thank you very much for watching, and meet us back here tomorrow for the deciding series between Fnatic and H2K. Have a great night.
Bye.
Bye.
Who will reign supreme?